February 24th, 3:12 p.m. Wright and Co. Law Offices. Yeah. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. Ich möchte immer noch wissen, der Typ war ein Serienmörder, der hat 100 Pro... Wieso muss man fucking die Sachen fälschen? Das verstehe ich nicht. Na gut, wir werden sehen. I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the joke Dark killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. Lana wanted Drake convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma? On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me. Why did he try to kill you? Okay. Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. Okay. So that means you... Yes. I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial. I didn't see that one coming. Okay. It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Der hat auf jeden Fall eine extrem creepy Aura um sich. Joe Dark. It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage, but before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then, what happened? I'll never forget it. Lightning struck and the lights went out. Suddenly. A bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. Permanent picture. I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall. So you weren't able to testify about that? No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why why she made up the crime. Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly, Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yes, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean, it's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. So it's true, even though he may not have known it, Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold like she is today. She must not have been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. What did you see in the instant that crime occurred? Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Okay, yeah. Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. Und wurde dann nicht... Okay, er hat dann Neil Marshall umgebracht, aber sie nicht, obwohl sie das eigentliche Ziel war. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma. You've been through so much. Wobei sie ja das war ja vor 2 Jahren, noch jünger war vor allem als jetzt. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago. You must have been 14, that's understandable. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I wanted to be able to fight crime with my testimonies, and find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any. I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at that time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor. Oh, there's no mystery there. Oh yeah? Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police? Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. But why did he run all the way over to your sister's office? Because the detective offices and the questioning room are right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator. But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly, didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. What? That's news to me. After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Lana used to be a detective. I better have another talk with her. Gehen wir direkt zum hier, bam. Detention Center. Spill it, Lana. Mr. Wright. It seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul, why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Allerdings, believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh, about how you were a detective 2 years ago. And how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. I have a Mr. Right to know? A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believe in you, Lana. I believe that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. But all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15, there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana, that what the witness, Miss Starr, said. About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lana, I don't understand. Why wouldn't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so phased before. Ja, das verstehe ich nämlich auch gerade nicht. It's true. I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing. They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant. He was the deputy chief of police back then, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damen Gant. He was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed. Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes so you could use that experience in court, right? Gant's help in the SL9 case was crucial to its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. Yeah. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command. That means the investigation lead was Damen Gant, right? Lead. Yes, Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. They even had the same office. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall, and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Kann ich mir gut vorstellen. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. Der Fakt ist, dass keine Musik gerade spielt und wir dieses Bild von ihm haben, ist großartig. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. Ja, das okay. That was when his final murder took place. When he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us. Okay. Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages and Dark must have suddenly panicked, so he waited up until Gant and Marshall let their guards down and then fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana. It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies. Prosecutor Marshall, the victim Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her. Can't blame her, after all her sister must have gone through. Yep. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident. That's right. Quite a coincidence, huh? I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident just by chance. But the case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yes. His action came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he changed completely. Er war nicht immer von der Prärie, oder wie? I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Ich kann Marshall in dem Fall verstehen. Ja, okay, er ist zwar für schuldig befunden worden, Dark, aber nicht. Aber es ist trotzdem immer noch so ein bisschen... Es fehlt irgendwas. Es ist so... Ja, er ist im Knast, aber nicht aus dem Grund, aus dem er eigentlich im Knast sein sollte. Wobei er gerne... Selbst wenn er denselben Sentence bekommen würde, es ist trotzdem, logischerweise ist es... Nicht Gerechtigkeit quasi. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damen Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself, the chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the chief's office, the site of the final SL9 murder. Let's do that, wenn wir da überhaupt hinkommen. Yes. Ah, yeah. Gumshoe? I don't see Detective Gumshoe anywhere, schade. Things seem kind of quiet around here today. You're right. The chief of detectives seems the same, though. Why don't we go look for some other people to talk to? Right. We can go back here later. Good. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Vielleicht haben wir Gumshoe hier. Oder Mr. Marshall. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall. I never thought things would turn out this way when I woke up this morning. Que sera. You never know when life will lead you, eh, Bambina? I should have known my luck and run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Dachte mir auch gerade, what? Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know it won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why do you prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about it, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Definitiv nicht. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either, all the detectives thought so. What do you mean, fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? You mean that switchblade knife with the broken tip? That was Joe Dark's, alright. But in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? Alle werden langsam zu Snake hier. The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means there is a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? Denke ich mal. That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that the SL9 incident left behind. I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. Er sieht komplett gleich aus. I had just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he, your brother? He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? You mean the... King of Prosecutors. I knew it! What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. The day the SL9 incident took place, that wasn't the same day as... That's right. It was the day of the evidence transferal. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was a thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. Frage ist von wem? There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Bis auf einen war dann Lana wahrscheinlich. Miss Starr was fired and was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They? Who are you talking about? Illuminati? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Damen Gant and Lana Sky. Ah, ja, okay. The investigation led Damen Gant and his second in command, Lana Sky. Ich habe langsam Gant irgendwie auch unter Verdacht, aber vielleicht doch nicht. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duel. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah. Damen Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Sky was totally different when she was a detective. Now that he mentions it, Emma said something like that too. Yup. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. Lana's secret. It all started 2 years ago. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy, partner? Was certainly enlightening. Ja, weil er jetzt diesmal nicht in fucking hier mit Western-Bildern gesprochen hat, sondern Fakten. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. But someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damen Gant. Also doch. Kann ich ihn doch verdächtigen, gut. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Too bad I won't be around to work with you. When you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. Okay. Let's move it. Criminal Affairs Department. This place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for the others, they are all in the conference room. Thanks. Well, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the decision about what to do about Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention our statement to the media and tomorrow's trial, there's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. I'm sorry. We'd like to have a look around Chief Gunn's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right, you can't go in there. It's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, now what are you waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. Yup. Chief's office. Jesus Christ, what? Okay. Ja, das erklärt zumindest die Musik. Definitiv. Aber warum hat der Typ eine Orgel da drin? Trotzdem. Where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. I thought I was a genius until they tried teaching me notes. Okay. I never could remember where C was. Oh god. Oh, it's you two! Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. So, Wright, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too with Mr. Marshall's misconduct. And Lana's provocative statement. Provocative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? 2 years have passed since that incident. Ha, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? Allerdings, yeah. That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Ist das da schon kaputt gewesen, das Schild? Nee, oder? Zumindest, ich weiß nicht, ob das Schwert war, das kaputt war. Lass mal kurz sehen. Wir haben es ja hier. Check. Oh ja, stimmt, das ist ja kein Schwert mehr. Das heißt, das Schwert ist weg. Und das Schwert ist hier abgebrochen. Okay. Okay. Merken wir uns das mal. Könnte eventuell wichtig werden, wer weiß. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. Ja, der fucking award. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it, though. Ich schon. Dann. Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out together. Oh, but this office. It was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we did still like to look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend. Looks like we aren't welcome. Seems that case isn't over with yet after all. Naja gut, ich meine, es macht wirklich keinen wirklichen Sinn, da nach 2 Jahren hat der Typ so viel Sachen, also gerade was Fingerprints angeht, kannst du sowieso vergessen, weil das... Was willst du da groß nachschauen? Das ist 2 Jahre her. Das Mobiliar wurde umgeändert, alles was da drin stand, wurde anscheinend rausgepackt und mit neuen Sachen ausgestattet, das... Naja. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean like a clue? There's got to be a way we can get inside the chief's office. Sure. Wenn Gumshoe da ist, vielleicht schon. Hey, pal. Detective Gumshoe, aren't you supposed to be in a meeting? I'm, just taking a breather. My feet hurt. From sitting so long. Actually, from serving everyone coffee. Sounds like Detective Gumshoe is still out of the loop. Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No. Why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battles between you two in court. That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? It's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. Okay. But why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lana Skye is the guilty party here, isn't she? Regardless, the prosecutor is responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, but as you know, there have been rumors of... There've been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor kept him safe from those who don't like him. Yeah. But now with this, are there really so many people who hate him? In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know of for making enemies. Hey Dick, keep up the good work. Yes, sir. Let's go out for lunch again sometime. My treat. Yes, sir. You gotta take me back to that joint someday, okay, Dick? Yes, sir. Seems you don't have any problems with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack. Na, ich glaub nicht. Er ist eine ziemlich dicke Haut, was man ja auch braucht. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing. He seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find out anything? The only evidence Dark left behind was during his final attack. His final attack? You mean when he killed Prosecutor Marshall who was trying to protect some girl? Okay. Me. Seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all. But what was it? Let's see. I think it had something to do with the murder weapon. I saw this, the switchblade. Oh, I forget. Look, it's all written somewhere in here, okay? His powers of recollection never fails to impress. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might jog his memory. Yup. Die angebliche murder weapon. Joe Dog was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. Businessman? What made him take to serial killing? One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car. With his car, so it was an accident. An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal. An animal? He killed a man that witnessed the accident. Then he killed a lady who saw the second crime. A kid walked by just then, so he killed them too. Then when he was burying the bodies, a jogger came upon the scene and was killed as well. Finally, he turned himself in. Jesus Christ. Seems he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence. So he turned himself in. Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Also vielleicht doch kein wirklicher Serienmörder, der Serienmorde begangen hat. Also, naja. Ich dachte, das war jetzt über die Zeitspanne von mehreren Jahren, aber war anscheinend, also die ganzen Morde, die er begangen hat, waren anscheinend an einem Tag. Ich glaube, da ist auch noch ein bisschen mehr hinter ihm, als es bisher den Anschein hatte. Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but luckily Dark was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed. That last witness. AKA Emma. Präsentieren wir ihm mal die angebliche... Moment. Let me share a little... Ja. Hätte er sein können. About this. Hey, is that... It has a tag attached to it with the label SL9 incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker. On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, it suddenly disappeared from the locker. And was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler. That's it. Now I remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Well, what is it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again! Oh, so yeah. Talk. Yes. This knife, it was Joe Dark's, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at. Plus, it had his fingerprints on it too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken. You don't have to take a good look to notice that. I think so. Yeah, well, anyway. Take a guess where the broken off tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in. Where was it? The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. It was found deep inside the stab wound. Did it match Dark's knife? You bet. Down to the last fiber. That's pretty conclusive. Aber eventuell falsch. Stabbed in the back, died from punctured heart and lung. Ah, ja, das klingt immer ein bisschen sehr gut. A knife tip was in the wound. Switchblade knife after. The broken tip was found in the victim's body, belonged to murderer Joe Dark. Es wurde nicht gesagt, ob Joe Dark davon gestorben ist, allerdings. Nee, also Joe... Na, dieses Foto, oder dieses Bild von vorhin, in dem eben Joe Dark auf Neil Marshall lag. Ich glaube nicht, dass Joe Dark tot ist. Ich glaube, er lebt noch. Er ist ja anscheinend im Gefängnis. Wobei es auch nicht gesagt wurde, was sein Sentence letzten Endes war. Ob das Life in Prison war oder ob es Todesstrafe war. Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gant. It's not money, but it does concern the chief. His office is a crime scene, right? Sir, Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. The chief's out now and his office is locked, but we'd like to have a look around if that's okay. Well, any detective's ID card can unlock the door. Oh, okay. But if I let a civilian in there, I'll be charged with breach of trust. Breach of trust. Simply put, I'd be canned. Oh. Sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. Dachte ich mir nämlich auch gerade, das würde ja eigentlich funktionieren. So in other words, Gumshoe is our only chance of getting into that office. I wonder if there's something we could show him that would make him change his mind. Nee, okay. Gibt's hier irgendwas? Okay, hier kam nichts dazu. Irgendwas von Edgeworth oder so, aber ich glaube nicht. Naja, ich glaube nicht. Aber was wir machen können ist, wir gehen, ups, das war falsch. Wir gehen Richtung, ja, genau, Underground Parking Lot, Richtung High Prosecutor's Office. Zum guten Edgeworth. No one's here today, not even a star. Zum Glück. Everyone's probably busy looking into what exactly went down in the evidence room. That must be where the detectives are. But we proved in court today that on the day of the crime, no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15 p.m. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case, but instead it looks like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. I've got to find all the answers by tomorrow. Yep. Yep. Ihm können wir auf jeden Fall die Trophy zeigen, weil da irgendwas nicht ganz richtig ist. Da fehlt das fucking Schwert. Schauen wir mal. Oh, und da fehlt ebenfalls die Klinge übrigens, fällt mir gerade ein. Bei dem Schwert, was wir gesehen haben, glaube ich, lass mal nur nachschauen. Ich glaube, da fehlt ebenfalls die Klinge, kann das sein? Ja, es fehlt die Klinge. The tip. I wonder if Edgeworth is back yet. There he is. It looks like he's writing something. What are you doing here? He sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough data in court, huh? I've had to live the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm rooting for you. That's Edgeworth for you. Always trying to hide his real feelings. So what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. Let's talk. There is no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to, and nothing I can do. Nothing I do can erase that fact. But you didn't know, did you? I mean, that the evidence was falsified. The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error, my responsibility as the prosecutor in charge. That fact remains the same no matter what excuse I might have. Mr. Edgeworth, I take pride in my work, so tell me why. Why has it all come to this? Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of emotion bottled up. Are you up for the trial tomorrow? First last year's trial and now this one. It seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. But Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial. Tomorrow is the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? The list of evidence. It seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. It's only half as long as most lists. That is odd. After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do. Use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at the time. Wer war eigentlich Defense Attorney dann zu dem Zeitpunkt? Das würde ich gerne mal wissen. Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. That picture, something seemed strange about it. Yep. Kommen wir gleich dazu. Could you tell us again about what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered. You were participating in a ceremony over at the station, right? I've never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one. Because you were awarded this? Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. You finished up at the office? Yes. Just odds and ends. Clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is, until I was asked to take something back. Take something back. Snake wieder. This. Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes. It was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. That's the story we heard yesterday. So you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to. That's right. Also hat's definitiv was mit dem Chief zu tun, so viel ist sicher, vor allem da er uns vorhin husch aus dem Raum raus eskortiert hat, mehr oder weniger. Also war es der Chief. This picture was hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office. Prosecutor Neil Marshall, he had just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes. The trophy Mr. Marshall is holding. It's a little different than yours. Yes, you're right. Das ist dieselbe. Ah, I remember now. Remember what? That was what the official prosecutor's trophy looked like until 2 years ago. There's a story behind its design. A story. Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us? Simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. Okay. Genauer, please. Thank you very much. This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. The first means halberd and the second means shield. Have you heard the story? Me? Sure, everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it, though, for Emma's sake? Very well. Long ago in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. On one day, he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Contradiction. Wait a minute. Yep. Those claims contradict each other. Very perceptive, but then again, you've heard this story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very descriptions of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless. And thus, the Chinese word for contradiction was born. Oh, I see. So, the chipped shield and broken knife symbolize... Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words. But it is now in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion. Even if it results in something as ugly as this. Wow, thanks Mr. Edgeworth, I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield? Well, I think so. You'll have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the award abolished. Chief Gant. 2 years ago, the halberd was removed at Gant's behest, giving it its current form. Okay. Oh man, yeah. I wonder what he was writing before. Come on, Mr. Wright. Let's take a look. Are you crazy? Edgeworth is sitting right there. Just distract him. I'll check it out. Hey, Edgeworth. Is that Detective Gumshoe out the window? Oh no, he's falling to the ground. Hold on. First, let me see what the girl's doing crawling around my feet. I didn't even look. What? Letter of... If you're having trouble reading, I'll read it for you. It says letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean... I'm tired, right? I feel as if something inside me has died. But Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault. I know the path I've walked. You don't need to tell me. And the path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else should forgive me either. Wusste es aber nicht. Naja. I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation, I wonder if I can use it for anything. Vielleicht können wir es Gant zeigen.